Let's suppose Naruto and Sasuke were overpowered off rip. I'm guessing the first thought that would come to a lot of your minds is probably that this is just going to be really boring and they're going to be really overpowered. And to be completely transparent with you guys, that's what I thought at first, until I began working on the script. And let me tell you, the landscape of the Naruto universe changes entirely. So if you go on to enjoy the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, as it helps the video do so much better in the algorithm, and it only takes 1 second. That said, I hope you enjoy. What if Sasuke and Naruto were OP off rip?
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
We begin our story in Naruto's perspective. Sasuke! Sasuke! What do we do? Fight, Naruto. Try again. That's all we can do. They try over and over again and break the mirrors or hit Haku, but nothing works. Eventually, after a while, Naruto and Sasuke would both tire each other out. But Haku would not be tired, and he would continue going through the mirrors, jumping from mirror to mirror, throwing Senbon after Senbon at the weakened Naruto and Sasuke. Eventually, Sasuke would end up awakening his Sharingan, and it would become a lot easier for him to end up dodging the attacks. But Naruto would end up being penetrated more and more and more, and eventually, Haku would decide that the mission and being a tool to Zabuza is more important than sparing these two kids' life. So, in one split moment that would change the whole world of Naruto instantly, this is what ends up becoming the huge impact. Haku throws a ton of needles at the direction of Naruto, just like in canon, and just like in the original Naruto version, Sasuke jumps in the way and takes the brunt of the attack. However, as Sasuke is falling and Naruto is looking towards the direction of Sasuke, Haku would throw a bunch more Senbon at Naruto, immediately killing the both of them. This would lead to Sakura screaming, "No! Sasuke!" And as this is happening, Kakashi would be shocked at what just transpired before him, as he would let his guard down for just a split second, leading to Zabuza getting the upper hand and ultimately killing Kakashi Sensei. Sakura and the bridge builder would follow, and what changes is essentially after Naruto and Sasuke would both admittedly die, everything would go dark. Sasuke and Naruto would end up meeting Hagoromo, the Sage of the Six Paths, way earlier than in canon, leading to their eventual power-ups and the Sun and Moon seals appearing on their hands. The conversation would go very similar to that of canon continuity, and Hagoromo would explain to them that they are on a mission to essentially stop Kaguya from ever being brought back to life, essentially. Naruto would be kind of confused on everything, but since Sasuke also was told most of this information as well, as soon as Sasuke is able to actually have a talk with Naruto, this is when everything will make sense to the both of them. That said, Naruto would still end up receiving the chakra of all of the tailed beasts, courtesy of Hagoromo. And after this, he would also give them cool looking cloaks, because honestly, why not? This doesn't happen in the original, but I needed it to happen. It just looks so dope for the thumbnail, and I had to make it happen. I'm sorry, it's just a little bit of an ass pull, but I needed it to happen. That said, this is when they would both end up waking up, and when they do, their entire team would be dead, with Zabuza and Haku just finishing with the killing of Tazuna. When they would see this, they would both get mad, and Sasuke's eye would change the pattern of the Mangekyo Sharingan for the first time, way earlier than in canon, as he would engulf both Zabuza and Haku in Amaterasu flames, killing them both on impact. Sasuke and Naruto would both look saddened, and Sasuke would decide that they need to bury them and finish what they started. This bridge will kind of serve as a memory for Kakashi, Sakura, and Tazuna. And with saddened expressions, Naruto would look to the ground and say that if only he was stronger. If only I was stronger, then this never would have happened. Sasuke would put a hand over Naruto's shoulder, and Naruto would begin feeling rage boil to the surface as he would hear an ominous voice in the background saying, "Calm down, Naruto." As suddenly, he would appear in a strange situation, seeing the tailed beast right before him. Kurama would explain to Naruto that he is one of those tailed beasts that Hagoromo explained to him, and that knowing that he is the reincarnation of Ashura and Hagoromo gives him his approval, Kurama will now be giving him his respect and full chakra, as much as Naruto could handle. Naruto would acknowledge this said fact, and from here would snap back into the real world, as the first thing that Naruto could see is essentially a gigantic boat approaching, full of Gato's men. Naruto would hold one hand out as he would expand one of his single truth-seeking orbs, and he would destroy all of Gato's men, including Gato himself. As the villagers would have barely arrived to the scene, they would see this and vow to finish the bridge in memory of everybody who had died. Sasuke and Naruto after this would end up returning to the village without the rest of their teammates, and upon arrival, they would begin to inform Hiruzen of everything, including their new power-ups, and Hiruzen would be shocked at this revelation, saying that this is definitely bad news. Kakashi was an incredible shinobi, and Hiruzen would hit his pipe before saying, "Naruto, now that you have all these powers and you know this knowledge of the world, I think there's no reason to hold back any information from you anymore." As he would go on to tell Naruto about his father and mother, and also explain to both Sasuke and Naruto that while they may be powerful, they still need guidance, so they will be under the supervision of Kurenai. Naruto would say, "Kiba's team? Why?" And Hiruzen would say, "No, Naruto. Hinata's team. Kiba is dead," shocking Naruto and Sasuke, as he then says, "Shino as well also perished on their previous mission. Call it fate as you will, but you are now part of that team." This would make them both realize why they're on this team, and they would accept the terms and conditions. From here, Hiruzen would explain to both of them not to reveal their true strength unless 100% necessary. And from here, they would go on to meet Kurenai and Hinata, as they would end up as Kurenai would end up being filled in on the truth of Naruto and Sasuke's powers by Hiruzen himself. From here, they would end up meeting each other, and this is when Kurenai would meet Naruto and Sasuke alone, without Hinata being present. She would inform the both of them that while they may be more powerful, she will still guide them and keep them safe on missions, with her explaining that she's sorry for their losses, and Naruto would say that he's also sorry. He wishes he could have fought Kiba one last time, but looks like now that'll never be in the realm of possibility. And from here, Kurenai would say, "Sadly not." As from here, they would go on to meet Hinata, and the team would kind of begin getting acquainted with each other, with Hinata being saddened at the fact that Kiba and Shino are dead, but also happy at the fact that now she has Naruto on her team. I mean, the person that she's been in love with since she can remember is on her team. So that would kind of brighten things up for her. Her and Naruto would begin having a strange relationship. Hinata would still be extremely shy of having Naruto on her team, but just like in the movies and any situation where Naruto and Hinata have had to work together, that's kind of what the relationship, aka bond, would be between this team. With the death of Kakashi Sensei and Sakura, those two spots are going to be filled by Kurenai and Hinata. And admittedly so, I could have tossed them into any other team, but I decided to throw them into this one just due to the fact that I like Kurenai as a character, and I also enjoy Naruto x Hinata. So this is what we're going to be going for in terms of the series. Also, I spared Sasuke the trouble of being with Sakura. I could have kept her alive. I could have. Zabuza and Haku could have spared her very well. But I didn't want to. I'm killing the trash bag off rip. That's another change. It's the best change. Probably the only change that's like worthy. I could stop the series now and I'll be happy. But I won't. Because I love you guys. Anyways though, what ends up happening following these interactions is Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata would all be informed of the Chunin exams to come. And so, we skip to the day when they're walking inside of the gates. Immediately off rip, Naruto, Hinata, and Sasuke would all recognize that there's a Genjutsu in place to fool the weaker Genin that aren't ready to take the Chunin exams. They would ignore this and eventually end up running into Neji's team. Neji would look towards Hinata's direction as he begins spouting nonsense at her, telling her that what's a useless Hyuga member doing here? They should have sent somebody stronger. Naruto would get to the defense of Hinata, saying that he better be quiet, and Neji would simply smirk as Lee goes up to Sasuke and informs him that he wishes to battle. "I have heard many tales of your strength, Sasuke Uchiha. Please, spar with me." And from here, Sasuke would be like, "Sure thing. before having a cocky smile on his face and just knowing that he was about to stomp Lee. I'm gonna spare you guys this because keep in mind, Naruto was able to just completely annihilate Ten Tails Madara with a kick and a Rasen Shuriken that just pretty much killed the man. So just imagine that type of amp on a Sasuke who now has the Rinne Sharingan in one eye, and it's actually covered by a seal that Hiruzen placed in that eye so nobody could see it, because he doesn't want people to just try and take Sasuke's eye every 5 seconds, even though like the majority of the characters in the Naruto series wouldn't be able to touch him at this point. Not even like the top 5% could even do that much damage if we're being genuinely honest with ourselves. So it's kind of just a last minute precaution just to make sure that other villages aren't trying to like actively attack them. So that said, Lee would end up getting stomped, and from here they would all go on to go to the section where they're actually taking the test. This would pretty much happen in the sense that they all end up passing. Naruto still is dumb and he still gets 0 answers on his test just due to the fact that he doesn't want to copy Hinata and he wants to become a ninja on his own will, and he would eventually pass due to the last question. They would end up all meeting outside, and from here, Anko would end up informing everybody of the fact that they're going to have to take this test and go into the forest as well as sign these contracts, stating that if they die in there, that's not their responsibility. Could you imagine going into like a roller coaster and the first thing they have you sign is, if you die on this, not my problem? Like, just think about that first. I could get it, they're ninjas and y'all, but that's terrifying. Me personally, I would have quit the Chunin exams at that moment because I'm not risking my life for nobody. Not happening. Side tangent aside though, what ends up happening is essentially the team would end up going inside. And eventually, Naruto, just like usual, would end up having to go take a leak. So Hinata would begin twiddling her fingers, being like, Naruto-kun, as Sasuke would just begin saying, alright dope, hurry up. He would fly off towards the distance. Psych, no he wouldn't, because remember, keep those abilities hidden. So he would just walk towards the tree a good distance away, and Naruto would begin doing his thing. Right as he finishes and zips up his pants, this gigantic anaconda would come flying in his direction and would try to eat this man whole. But Naruto would hold the one hand out and he would use a 6 paths orb as he just expands it, and the snake would come right into this black darkness orb as it would just get destroyed at an atomic level. Like it just gets all of it's just gone. It's done. It doesn't exist anymore. Naruto from here would end up chuckling, thinking to himself that this kind of power is gonna come a lot in handy in the Chunin exams, especially when he fights against more of the powerful members. Also, this version of Naruto still hasn't met Gaara quite yet, so yeah, keep that in mind. That said though, what ends up happening is we're going to be switching our perspective towards Sasuke. And Sasuke at this moment is next to Hinata, simply waiting for Naruto to come back. He would come back in clone form, and Sasuke would inevitably end up realizing that this is not the real Naruto by his chakra signature and also by the fact that he actually knew the password. So from here, what Sasuke would do is essentially just look towards the direction of the fake Naruto clone and place him under a powerful genjutsu. In brotherly fashion, Naruto would trap Orochimaru in a genjutsu that would just completely stop this man. Like, Orochimaru is pretty much done for just from Sasuke using a simple genjutsu on him. Well, not a simple one, a very powerful one, but come on now. He stopped him with looking at him. That's broken. Orochimaru would be stuck in place, and he would have flashbacks to when this happened with Itachi. Orochimaru would eventually show his true form, and this is when Sasuke would think, well, if it isn't one of the legendary Sannin, I've read up on you. You are Orochimaru, the Snake Sage. As from here, he walks around him, and Orochimaru would simply think, damn it, brat, you're just like your older brother Itachi. I should have expected this. As from here, Orochimaru would turn into snakes and run away, not wanting any of this man's smoke. None of it. He wants none of it. And Naruto, the real Naruto, would eventually arrive being like, I'm back, guys. What'd I miss? Sasuke would hold a kunai to Naruto's throat, and Naruto would be like, Sasuke, put that down. As Sasuke would be like, yeah, that's the real Naruto. From here, they would go on and take the scroll that Orochimaru left behind and make their way back to the tower, which means that they have broken the record for fastest time in the Chunin exams ever recorded. A grand total of 7 minutes. From here, they would end up making their way there, and kind of just resting for the following 3 days. Seeing as everybody else needs time to actually make their way towards the tower, get scrolls, yada yada yada. You guys get the drill. That said, eventually what ends up happening is the preliminary battles would still happen due to the fact that there's a lot of contestants still alive. The only difference this time would be that we're taking out Shino, Kiba, Sakura, and Sakura's battle. And we're just going to say that a member of another team died just to make things even. So instead of Sasuke actually fighting the random genin that he fought in the original, actually no, I'm going to keep that the same. Sasuke still ends up finding the chakra siphoning, ninja, and he ends up getting stomped very badly. Sasuke heavily tries to nerf himself, but it's hard, dude. Just imagine having the strength of pretty much a god inside you and trying to hold it back whenever you fight against everybody. That just sounds horrible. So Sasuke would end up inevitably stomping him very easily, and Naruto's battle will actually end up consisting of fighting against Rock Lee. So this time, Lee's not going to be fighting against Gaara. Naruto's going to be one of the very final matches. And this match, I wish I could look at you guys and be like, oh my god, it's about to be so interesting. No, it's not. It's not. Rock Lee would rush in at Naruto and begin trying to use taijutsu against him, saying, I will not lose to you. I have been training. Guy Sensei, can I do it? From here, Naruto would be like, do? And Rock Lee would jump back as he strikes off his weights and it leaves a crack on the earth. Naruto, seeing this, would think to himself that Rock Lee is definitely fast, but he's faster, as he appears behind Rock Lee, and everybody watching these battles would be shocked, with the exception of Hiruzen, who already has seen this insane level of speed displayed by Naruto. Naruto from here would proceed to absolutely stomp this man Lee and simply send a kick that would send him crashing into the wall, completely knocking Neji out. No, not why do I keep confusing Neji and Lee? Completely knocking Lee out. Following this, we end up cutting to the actual final battles, and it's actually going to be consisting of Naruto versus Neji and Sasuke versus Gaara. Yeah, that sounds cool. And also Shikamaru versus Tamari and, whoever the rest of the battles were. But most of them end up forfeiting and we don't really care about them. So we're kind of just going to be skipping to the 1 month training arc. In the original, because Kakashi's alive and he's actually another Sharingan user, he's the one who ends up training alongside, Sasuke for a month. But instead, what ends up happening this time is Kurenai would actually end up training with both the boys as well as Hinata once she recovers about 1 week later from the gruesome fight that she ends up having against Neji. However, she recovers a bit faster, and now the team is all training together. Eventually one day, Naruto would end up going to a hot spring area where he ends up meeting the Toad Sage Jiraiya. This interaction goes just like it does in canon, and eventually Jiraiya would end up being Naruto's sensei, trying to become his master and teaching him a couple of jutsus. During this time, Naruto would end up learning the ability that of the summoning jutsu, and he would master it at like the 3rd try, because Naruto has a very, very amazing understanding of chakra now, due to the fact that he got bestowed the powers of the Sage of Six Paths. Not to mention, he also has all 5 chakra natures just completely under his belt, where he could perform a jutsu just by simply watching it one time. So seeing Jiraiya create this, Naruto would follow in suit. And as soon as Naruto was able to master that and Gamabunta realizes how powerful this kid is, Naruto would also be showed the Rasengan by Jiraiya. And once Naruto sees this technique, he would actually end up telling Sasuke if he's interested in learning it. Sasuke, however, would have at this point been trying to mimic the ability that Kakashi uses, which is known as the Chidori, and he would tell Naruto that he's not interested, but he is interested in training with Jiraiya for a while. So both of the boys would end up training their taijutsu abilities with Jiraiya, and also learning a bunch of random jutsus that Jiraiya was able to teach them. Hinata would end up doing most of her training alongside Kurenai, and her knowing that they're training under the legendary Sannin would not be salty about this whatsoever. So, by the end of everything, Jiraiya would be inevitably filled in on the fact that Naruto is, way stronger than him if he was to actually try. Because Naruto has access to 6 Paths Sage mode, not Toad Sage mode, so he doesn't even have to learn it this time, but 6 Paths Sage mode. A way more overpowered version of this. And access to natural chakra, access to Sage chakra and his normal chakra pool, as well as full access to that of Kurama's chakra if he ever seems fit. He completely skips over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tails and goes straight into KCM because Kurama is allowing him to use it. And Jiraiya being there is actually able to give Naruto the key to open the seal on Kurama, allowing Naruto 100% access to KCM2, using the ability that is known as Sage of Six Paths combined with KCM, leading to a very overpowered and broken young Naruto. This kid is 13, mind you, and he already has all these broken abilities, and he's now simply working on his fundamentals, learning the Rasengan, and being told about what his father was like back in the day. Also being informed of the fact that Jiraiya is actually his godfather. Sasuke would also have ended up learning a couple of more techniques, and he would be filled in on where Itachi has been and all this stuff. Sasuke, now that he has all this power, isn't pressed on, is Naruto stronger than me? No, he's not pressed on any of those things. Instead, Sasuke is simply just waiting for the day that he runs into his brother, and he knows that that will happen someday. Sasuke is now simply just waiting for his chance to defeat Itachi and ask him why he did what he did. That's all Sasuke wants. His goals and aspirations have changed slightly due to the timeline's small but drastic changes that have happened to the series. I mean, Kakashi and Sakura's death was already a big change, and Naruto's changes are about to be implemented way more right now. So what happens is after the 1 month training arc, they all end up inevitably making their way towards the genuine final fights of the series, right? And we end up getting to the point where Naruto ends up fighting against Neji. That's a stomp. I'm not even going to cover it. Sasuke would end up fighting against Gaara. I'm sorry once again, but that is a stomp. And the second that Gaara begins trying to run out of the village, Naruto stands right in front of him before then kind of like, how do I put this? Like mentally communicating with Shukaku, where Kurama and Naruto would enter the mind of Gaara and tell Shukaku that he is the reincarnation of Ashura, Hagoromo's son. Shukaku would say, "What does that have to do with me? I'll take over this kid's body and become more powerful than you, Kurama." As from here, Naruto is like, "No, you're not. You're gonna stop tormenting this kid and like stop being horrible to this kid's psyche." You know, Shukaku would end up being like, fine, if father ordered it, then I guess. But it's not because of you, Kurama. As from here, Shukaku finally stops bothering, Gaara, and Gaara doesn't actually end up running away. So as soon as the signal is called and a bunch of destruction begins happening, Naruto would begin to look around as he sees that destruction is happening everywhere. Like it's nonstop. People are dying here, they're getting knocked out, and these gigantic snakes are coming in out of nowhere. Naruto from here would decide that nah, I'm not having in any of this. And from here, he would go on to create hundreds of Naruto clones, which would run into the battlefield and begin simultaneously taking down all of the biggest threats that are around. With Naruto and Sasuke both using the body flicker technique to arrive right next to Hiruzen, who at this point is having to fight against Orochimaru. Now, let me paint this picture. We have the Sound 4. They just sealed off the area, and we have Orochimaru versus Hiruzen versus Sasuke versus Naruto. To even the playing field, he would decide to use the ability of bringing back people from the dead. He would do so. The coffins of both Minato, Hashirama, and Tobirama would appear. However, he wasn't even able to get those out. Naruto and Sasuke both blitzed him, and Sasuke in particular used his teleportation space-time ninjutsu, which the Rinne Sharingan gives him access to, as he teleports right behind Orochimaru and just destroys this man. I'm sorry. He slits the neck of Orochimaru, saying, "I should have done this a while back." And Hiruzen just simply stood there watching as he single-handedly destroyed one of the biggest threats to Konoha that has come in a while. Hiruzen watching this is like, "Oh, that's interesting." And Naruto would just have a smirk on his face as the entire destruction of the village essentially would have been held back by a lot. So the destruction that happened was basically 20% of what happened in the original, which is a huge amount of lives saved and buildings saved and time saved. So Hiruzen is still in the village, keep that in mind. But after watching this all go down, he would look to Naruto and tell him that he truly is very powerful, looking to Sasuke and bowing down before thanking the both of them and telling them that he's going to be resigning as Kage, that, pretty soon he's going to be needing a replacement, before looking to Naruto and telling him that that's not too far off from him now. He just needs to become wise now, and maybe someday that Kage position will be his. Naruto would say, "Oh man, I could take that position right now. I bet I'm even stronger than you." Hiruzen would say, That's not a debate. You're definitely stronger than me now. But if we take into consideration the fact that, I have a lot of wisdom and knowledge, and you're just a little kid who would pretty much bring us to the dirt, we kind of have to pick someone else." Naruto would scoff at this, kick some rocks around, and Sasuke would put his hand over Naruto's shoulder before saying, "Come on, Naruto, let's go." From here, the both of them would leave the area, and what ends up happening next is essentially the entire village would begin having a little restoration arc. They never end up going after Tsunade, and Orochimaru is pretty much dead until he comes back from a curse mark, which will happen. But Orochimaru, now knowing that he can't get to Sasuke no matter what, doesn't actually end up sending the Sound 4 there. Tsunade doesn't have to go get brought back, and he doesn't need his arms healed because the Reaper Death Seal jutsu was never used on him. So that prevents a bunch of the problems that would happen in the original story, and from here is where we start seeing this domino effect of Naruto and Sasuke being so much more overpowered than everybody else that things slowly start falling into line and things slowly would begin changing. We jump into the 3-year time skip a lot earlier than we do in canon, and Hiruzen and Jiraiya and Kurenai would be responsible for training Naruto and Sasuke for these next 3 years. They would end up staying in the village, and one thing that actually ends up happening this time around that I completely forgot to mention is the battle between Sasuke and Itachi. This happens way earlier than in canon due to the fact that Sasuke is in the village, Naruto is in the village. So when the battle between the Jonin and Itachi and Kisame happens, this is where the story begins to heavily change. The 3-year time skip will be after this event. Sorry for not including this sooner, but I could not be bothered to re-edit this and just, fix the timeline that I just slightly messed up a little bit. So here's what I picture happening. Obviously, we have the battle between Itachi Kisame versus the Jonin, excluding Kakashi. And Kurenai and Kurenai and Asuma would get single-handedly clapped pretty early on, with Asuma being the one who gets hit with the Tsukiyomi jutsu. My guy would eventually arrive and hold him off, and once Sasuke gets wind of the fact that Itachi is actually in the village, he would immediately begin rushing towards that direction, using his top speeds, arriving there in a matter of seconds, before ripping off that seal that's placed on both of his eyes and showing the fact that he has a Mangekyo Sharingan and a Rinne Sharingan in the other eye. Itachi seeing this would be shocked, being like, "How did you?" And Sasuke would look to Itachi before saying, "Why did you do it? Why did you kill our clan? That's all I want to know, Itachi. Tell me now!" As he powers up a Chidori in one hand and shoots a stream of it straight at Kisame's direction, which would send him flying back. Eventually, Naruto would blitz right by the side of Sasuke before saying that this is not his fight to deal with, but asked Sasuke if he could deal with the fish guy. Sasuke would nod, and from here, he would proceed to blitz towards Itachi's direction as he hits him with the Chidori and sends him flying straight to the outskirts of the village, sending him straight into the forest of death, with one Chidori slamming Itachi through trees, causing Itachi to land on the ground and try to use his Genjutsu to begin doing the psychological battle, you know what I mean, that happened in the original. But no, Sasuke has the more superior Genjutsu, and he has six path Sage mode. Not happening whatsoever. Itachi would go on to get absolutely clapped by this man Sasuke. I mean, he gets folded like a lawn chair. And from here, Sasuke finally gets to do his questioning of Itachi, finding out the real reasoning why Itachi had all of these events happen like they did in canon. Itachi would explain to Sasuke that he had no choice. It was either the village, or it was either save the village or, save the Uchiha clan. And he chose the village because that's what he swore his allegiance to. Sasuke would tell him that he's so dumb and that he simply could have chosen sparing both of them, that he's the only one to blame and question for what happened. with Itachi explaining to Sasuke that Danzo was the real reason that all this happened in the first place. And as soon as Sasuke hears this, he would say, "So you were manipulated into killing our clan," with Itachi saying, "I was." And as soon as Sasuke hears this, he walks over towards his brother's eyes before pretty much doing what Naruto did to Kakashi once he lost his, right eye, and pretty much healing his eyes, taking them back to normal, so that Itachi's eyes could not have the blindness effect that they do like in canon. Naruto at this moment would be absolutely decimating Kisame, and he would actually end up using this gigantic Rasen Shuriken that he slams into Kisame's body and sends him flying into the water. Now, once this happens, Naruto flies into it using his KCM2 state and just begins to body Kisame, even when he merges with Samehada. Naruto would absolutely decimate this man, and it's not even a contest. And as soon as he's done, Naruto is just drenched with water, and he appears next to Sasuke, who is right with Itachi at this current moment, and he would give him a slight bit of his chakra, leading to Itachi actually telling Sasuke that, if anybody's to blame for what happened that day, it's Danzo. Sasuke would look at him before saying, "We'll deal with him right now," before looking to Naruto, who would ask what's going on. He would brief him in on the situation, and within minutes, they would be right in front of Danzo. After having annihilated the entire root Anbu, Danzo would look to their direction before saying, "It seems I've been caught." He would try to cast Kodo Matsukami onto them, but Itachi would use his Amaterasu and burn Danzo one time. That's one death. From here, the next death would come from Sasuke, who impales a Chidori straight into his chest. The next death would come from Naruto using a gigantic Biju bomb that would shoot straight out of his mouth using the Kurama avatar. Sasuke would turn into his gigantic Susanoo and would destroy any particle of Danzo that would be left. And Danzo would pretty much be played volleyball with, in the sense that Itachi, Naruto, and Sasuke would take turns killing him, until eventually the moment would come where Danzo would end up trying to pretty much get out of the village. And what Sasuke would do is use his teleportation space-time ninjutsu to essentially teleport Danzo out of the range of the village with a bird. So he explodes in the sky and there's just a bird in the room, as all that they have left now is just them sitting in this destroyed Anbu root place. And Hiruzen would ask what happened. He would question them as to what's going on, with them explaining that they know everything that happened to the village, and Sasuke would be in a rage with Hiruzen, asking him why the hell he didn't inform him of this sooner. And Hiruzen would kind of begin explaining for himself what happened, with Itachi saying that Hiruzen was completely not at fault, that it was his fault that things got out of hand, and Hiruzen would simply take the blame, saying, "No, Itachi, it was my fault, and that's why I will be stepping down as Kage. We need somebody better to lead us," as he would look towards Itachi and say, "And I see no better fit," before crowning Itachi the next Kage of the Hidden Leaf Village. Come on now, is that not good writing? Like, Sasuke ends up completely stomping his brother because now he can. He ends up finding the truth. They kill Danzo. Itachi becomes Kage. Come on now, that's golden. Just in my opinion. I mean, you guys could probably write something better, but that's just what I think. That said though, the 3-year time skip would happen and Itachi would end up helping Sasuke with a bit of his Mangekyo Sharingan prowess ability and his Susanoo, progress. Eventually, Sasuke would learn pretty much all that he could have learned from his big brother, Jiraiya, Hiruzen, and Kurenai, and they would become essentially the biggest powerhouses the world has ever seen. The Akatsuki would begin being very worried because one of their most powerful members, a heavy hitter, mind you, ended up joining the ranks of the, Naruto village. And with Itachi having a sickness still, since that's not something that Naruto and Sasuke could essentially heal, they do end up having to look for Tsunade, which they find her and they're able to drag her back to the village with no complaints. She would end up becoming a medical ninja and she would actually end up training, she would actually begin training a couple of students, one being Hinata, the other being Ino. During this 3-year time skip, Naruto and Hinata would end up becoming closer in terms of their relationship, and something would sprout into a beautiful thing, where by the end of this 3-year time skip, Naruto and Hinata have already closed the deal. Ino, with Sakura's death, would end up closing the knot with Sasuke herself, And this is actually going to be creating a entirely brand new timeline where Naruto and Sasuke are both actually staying in the village. They're happy with their positions in life, and Naruto and Sasuke being overpowered early actually does end up leading to an eventual good ending. The Akatsuki are now kind of like jumping around, like wondering what exactly they do. And in terms of the rest of the villages, when it comes to Gaara and him being taken by the leader of, no, not the leader of the Akatsuki, but Deidara and Sasori, that still does end up happening, mind you. Like, there's no reason that could change. So what ends up happening is essentially Sasuke, using his Rinnegan teleportation ability, would hold hands with Naruto and Hinata, as well as Kurenai Sensei, to essentially teleport right towards the direction of Gaara's village as soon as they got the letter, heal Kankuro, and then make their way towards Deidara and Sasori, saving Gaara before he could actually die. Which would actually lead to a pretty decent change, which is essentially that Lady Chiho doesn't go with them, so she never dies. Gaara still lives, and the Geto statue is actually found by Naruto and Sasuke. Seeing this, they realize that this is the plan that the Akatsuki put in order to actually summon Kaguya. They are planning to resurrect the Ten Tails. And Naruto and Sasuke, being briefed on this by Hagoromo, would have none of it. They are having absolutely none of it. They are not about to let this event happen whatsoever. So what essentially ends up happening is they would just completely clobber Deidara and Sasori very easily, mind you. Deidara would try using his most overpowered jutsu, but just imagine he's basically moving at like slow motion compared to that of Naruto and Sasuke, who blitz him and take them both out before they even have the chance to do a thing. Sasuke is able to completely annihilate Sasori's entire existence, and Naruto just blitzes Deidara before he even genuinely gets the chance to do anything with one of his truth-seeking orbs. That said, I'm not sure if Sasuke gets the truth-seeking orbs as well, because I don't remember seeing Sasuke having them. So I'm just gonna be saying that Sasuke does have them, but he doesn't use them, alright? And they end up saving Gaara, which is a good thing, because the relationship between the Sand Village and the Hidden Leaf Village becomes stronger. Which, by the time that they return, Asuma's team would have had their encounter with Hidan and Kakazu, and Sasuke and Naruto, hearing on this, would be sent by Itachi to go check the situation out. Also told by Itachi that a long time ago he would have sent them to deal with the main leader of the Akatsuki long ago. However, the thing is, with Itachi now being part of the Hidden Leaf Village, it's more likely than not that they changed locations. And by the time that he met them, while they were extremely powerful, he knows that Obito is a very smart individual, or who he knows as Madara. He would inform them about the leader of the Akatsuki, their powers, their dynamics, what everything's happening. So when Naruto and Sasuke hear about Asuma's death, they are saddened about this and end up going alongside Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino to help take it out. For Sasuke, it would be personal, and he would take out Kakazu because he made Ino sad. Shikamaru, alongside Naruto, would end up taking out Hidan. And after that, many of the powerful members of the Akatsuki would essentially already begin getting pretty much wiped out, leading to only Toby, Pain, Paper Lady, what's her name again? Konan, right? Yeah, Konan, and Zetsu being the only real members left in the Akatsuki. So, what does Obito do now? Well, he summons Orochimaru, and he ends up using the ability to bring back corpses from the dead to essentially go to the Hidden Leaf Village, since he knows that those are his biggest targets at the moment, and also, pretty much try to attack it in one fell swoop. I'm sorry to say this, but this plan absolutely does not work. Naruto is one of the greatest Shadow Clone Jutsu users in the entire Naruto universe. Now, even better than before, so he's able to create thousands of them and ultimately decimate each and every single character that they would have thrown at their direction. Naruto and Sasuke, as well as Itachi, would be the single-handed protectors of Konoha, and what would end up essentially happening is they just outclass everybody until eventually Toby and Pain are the only ones left. Now, okay, Rinnegan's cool, but Sasuke has it as well, and he knows exactly how it works. So he's able to single-handedly take out every single path of pain, leading to Itachi actually fighting against Konan herself. He's able to take her out with relative ease, and when it comes to Obito, that doesn't actually become that much of a problem. Sasuke, using his Sharingan ability, would teleport into the Kamui realm while Naruto is fighting Obito on the outside. So every time that Naruto hits him and his body phases into that dimension, Sasuke is able to essentially hit it with a Amaterasu every single time, essentially burning Obito every time he leaps in and out of his dimension, and would eventually end up hitting him with a very powerful jutsu that would just kill Obito. They end up killing him, and without even finding out that it wasn't even the real Madara. And after this happens, they are both relatively happy because they stopped the resurrection of Kaguya, which has been their main priority over even that of killing Itachi or becoming the Kage, because that's what they were entrusted to do by the Sage of the Six Paths. So once this event happens, Naruto was actually crowned as the Kage, the earliest Kage, youngest in the world. And he goes on to become a very good Kage at that. Sasuke becomes the Shadow Kage, and Itachi would end up stepping down from his position, kind of becoming one of Naruto's advisors, helping him out in terms of, being a Kage and stuff like that, seeing as he was already one for about 3 years. That said, eventually Naruto and Hinata would end up having Boruto, and Sasuke and Ino would end up having a boy version of Sakura. Not Sakura, but Sadara, who has that little diamond on his head, which is used to essentially infuse the ability of, what's the ability that Tsunade uses? I forgot its name, but you know what I'm talking about, right? And he has a boy instead of a girl, just because, I don't know, I like that more personally. He also does end up having a girl, and he has them very close in tandem, where the boy is older than the girl. So Sarada is stillborn, sadly, except this time, she has a different name and doesn't wear glasses because she doesn't have Sakura's trash genetics in her. And that's pretty much the end. If you made it to the end of the video, make sure to go down below and slap the like button, as well as comment #Sakura's trash. Just do it for me, please. It'll make my day, trust me. And I'll be liking the first comment in the first 10 hours. Like the first 10 hours, I'll be liking every comment that I get. Okay, so if you want something to say and you want to tell me something, make sure to comment it now, as well as subscribe, hit that post notifications, and also check out my channel artist, who was actually the dope person who created this thumbnail. You guys can find her links down below in the description. And with that said, I love each and every single one of you guys. Shout out to the channel members, and peace.